Hello, and thank you for clicking on the video. It's been quite some time since I made one of these, and if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm sheltering in place with the rest of the world, except I had to go to a Costco to get a few supplies for the house. Shout out to all of you working at Costco and grocery stores and healthcare places, true heroes, I say. But let me spend a few minutes talking to you about depression and this feeling of anxiety and loss that a lot of you are experiencing as you go through this. I'm somewhat of an expert in this, as I, like many other of you, have experienced loss and have experienced depression, and kind of a surprise for some of you because you've known me as Mr. Positive. And so let's talk about depression. You know, I'm not going to go too much into other topics. And so first, experience or accept that as you're going through this COVID-19 virus situation, there's this sense of the unknowing, right? The invisible enemy that exists all around us. It's one thing to know your enemy, but when you have the unknowns tend to take a toll on your energy level. It tends to take a toll because in this case, there are people dying around us and there is no cure for COVID-19. And so then you start to think about your own mortality and you start to wonder, am I going to make it through this? And I will tell you this, yes, you have to take steps to make sure that you're sheltering in place, that you're taking care of your health, that you're taking care of your elderly family members, etc. But ultimately, it has to start with your own mental well-being. And I've emailed quite a bit of you that have reached out to me as we're going through this. When your day begins, like when you're sitting in bed, and the second your eyes open, the first thing you should do is get out of bed. Those seconds, those minutes, the half an hour, an hour that you stay in bed, you're basically planting seeds of depression. I'm really serious about this. I'm an academic doctor, and I could tell you from the research that I've done that depression is a contagious type of feeling. You know, if you're around people who are depressed, all of a sudden you feel depressed. But those of you who have experienced depression in the past, and I've actually posted a few videos on it, you know that it has a crippling effect on you. You wake up in the morning, you find it hard to get out of bed. You finally get out of bed, you find it hard to get in the shower. You get in the shower, you find it hard to pick clothes. You pick clothes, you find it hard to find something to eat. And basically your body is like shutting down because it's not wanting to do anything, wanting to go anywhere. But again, if you remember what I said out of this whole video, is that if you want to combat depression, if you want to combat anxiety, if you want to combat the sense of hopelessness that a lot of us are feeling as we go through this virus epidemic, you have to start with every day when you first wake up in the morning and you open your eyes or you realize you're awake, you have to make it a duty, kind of like that motivator lady says, 3, 2, 1, and boom, the rocket's off. You're the rocket. You got to get up out of bed. You got to find that motivation. You don't have to be all happy and giddy and yay, I woke up another day. No, you just have to get up out of bed and not stay in bed. So 2 things bed is good for. One is sleep, and the other one is making love. And I know some of you will add on in the comments about what about folding clothes and all this other stuff. But honestly, you have to train your body, you have to train your mind that when you walk into your room, there should be no TV in there, and that you get it on the mattress to do one of these 2 things, right? To sleep and get a good restful night's sleep. And then after when you wake up in the morning, when your body says, hey, I've rested enough, you open your eyes and you get out of bed and get in the shower. I started doing this a few months ago. I get in the shower with warm water, and little by little, I start cooling off the water. Apparently, as you know, cold, some of you have researched this, actually triggers genes in your body that have been kind of dormant. And so if you, halfway through your shower, you make it like a full cold shower, and then, that's the remainder of your shower, it actually is beneficial for the healing genes in your body to be awakened, to be alerted to what's happening. So that's something else you could do when you're in a shower. Instead of like taking a warm shower where you're completely comfortable, you basically fire up that shower and you just make it happen. And so I urge you to take these tips seriously. I urge you to realize that the United States has been through an epidemic before, and we're going to get through this again. I urge you to pray for all those people in the health sector, in the education field, in the grocery stores, and all of those other essential places such as gas stations, etc. Those people that are there to help us get through this. I urge you to be respectful to them, to maintain social distancing, and just to be humble. I mean, this has really awakened a lot of people that have said, oh my gosh, I hate this feeling of being locked in my home. I hate this feeling of I feel like a prisoner. I've lost my freedom. And trust me, I completely relate to all of those things because like you, I'm sheltering in place. I'm respecting the social distancing rules. At the same time, I'm having to go out into the community to get groceries, to get gas, to check in on my elderly parents. And it takes a toll on you emotionally. It takes a toll. And I will go into another area of this video now, besides what I just told you about. Get out of bed the faster the possible so that you don't get depressed. The other thing that I will beg of you is to be very, very careful about how much social media negativity and news from the media, negative news, that you're taking into your body. Mental health is extremely important. Google, a huge company, asked their employees years ago to create this program on their phone to measure how much time they were spending on their phone, what they were watching, etc., because they were worried about these employees' mental health. And as one of my subscribers, or if you're just listening to this video, I encourage you to recognize and take notice of your mental health. I mean, if I could tell you one thing about taking care of yourself, your mental health is extremely important. So you cannot plant yourself in front of the TV and constantly view how many deaths we've had, how many more new cases, how this thing is spreading like wildfire, how they're doing this, how they're doing that, lockdowns, etc. You have to, yes, be informed. Go to worldometers.info/coronavirus to be aware of where the United States stands in relation to the rest of the world with this virus situation. And then that should be it. That should be it. Maybe watch your local news to find out if there's anything locally that is impacting you and your family, any kind of precautions. As soon as you get a hold of a mask, definitely wear a mask when you go out in public. If not, buy or get a scarf from home, or buy something that you could turn into a scarf and wear that when you get to go to the grocery store. And so these are things that you can take notice, that you can put in place right away to protect yourself, to protect your family from this virus. Now, worst case scenario, some of you may get this virus. It may be a mild, like a cold or a flu, or if you have some underlying conditions, diabetic, heart disease, high blood pressure, etc., it may be a roller coaster trying to combat this virus. But once you do, realize that other people have survived this virus. Thousands of people have contracted this virus, and thousands of them, 60, 80,000 people have recovered. And so I don't want you to, you've been watching my channel for a while, and I try to stay positive, and I want you to stay positive. I don't want you to get into the doom and gloom thinking that, oh my gosh, this is it. No, this is not it. You don't give up. You don't just throw the gloves and say, hey, I've given up. No, this is a transitionary time period for humankind, for the whole entire world that is facing, and you have to face this starting with you. Number one, you take care of yourself, you can take care of your family, you watch what you're doing on a daily basis, and you take the necessary precautions, because I assure you of this, one day this too will pass, and things will return to normalcy. Oh, one more thing. Do not use this as an excuse to drop your classes, stop planning careers, that kind of thing. On the contrary, as unemployment increases, people return to college and universities to finish their degrees. And so you should be doing the same thing. You should be planning your future. If you've been laid off, file for unemployment right away, start collecting unemployment, start doing something with your life while you are on unemployment. The markets fluctuate. Last time this happened during the last recession, people went back to school, people finished their degrees or their training or whatever they were trying to do. So I urge you to do the same thing and not just sit at home and plant yourself in front of Netflix or other social media sites and waste your time. So thank you for listening to my video. Please make any comments that you feel that maybe I need to cover some other areas. I urge you to follow me on Instagram at adju.mjc for other positive, encouraging words, motivational words every day. Please take good care of yourself. You know I care about you. Please stay mentally healthy. Please adhere to your local, state, federal guidelines on this virus thing. Take good care of yourself. Eat healthy, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay? Best wishes. Take care.